Rays from the rising sun fell on his face, waking him up from a peaceful slumber. Looking up at the unfamiliar ceiling, Han understood that he was at his house located within Academic City. As he awakened, it brought up memories of that night where the girls were crying as he lovingly held them. With such an emotional event, the night was later filled with passion as they seemed to merge into one. The sounds of moaning, feeling of skin rubbing against each other, and the smell of love lingering in the room. It had been several days since they shared that moment, getting closer to one another. The days since had been somewhat busy, as he had to find out various information and picking up supplies for the classes. Turning his head, he saw the sleeping figures of Helania, Queen, and Brittany as they recovered from the night before, looking relaxed and content. Ever since that night, the three of them had started to sleep in his bed. Leaning over to Brittany, who was next to him, he brushed his lips against her shoulder, trying not to wake her up. With a mumble, Brittany turned her head in the pillow and continued to sleep. Seeing her react that cutely, Han had no choice but to smile. Though many would think him to be an emotional person, the moment of waking up and seeing a beautiful woman lying next to him always made him happy. He remembered as a kid watching romance animes or mangas where this would happen and wished that he would be able to experience that. Crawling forward towards the edge of the bed, he was careful with not waking up the girls. Near the entrance to his room, there was another room for his clothes. This area couldn't be called a closet because of how massive it was, even having mirrors on one corner of the room so he could see from different sides. On one of the walls had a walk-in closet feel where outfits could be placed, though currently there's only one outfit hanging on the rack. The suit was neat and tidy looking, nearly white with decorative shoulder coverings, which had an excellent design composed of black and blue lines and symbols. Taking the outfit off of the hanger, Han started to put them on and made sure that everything seemed to be appropriately placed. Going over to one of the many shelves, he grabbed the belt and shoes that went with the outfit. Compared to what belts were used for on Earth, these seemed to hang from his waist, causing one side to always be higher than the other. There was a place on the side of his abdomen where the belt attached to and prevented it from falling to the ground. Han thought it was very fancy looking, like something out of an RPG made in Japan. The belt seemed to be used to hold various weapons and pouches that would be helpful on a task or quest. Even if many students didn't become adventurers, there were plenty of opportunities where exploring the dungeons would interweave with classes. Going to the mirror, Han checked the outfit and thought it looked pretty decent. He felt more like a cosplayer instead of a student at an academy inside of a fancy world. Leaving the room, Han proceeded to walk down the stairs and head to the dining area. Inside the dining area was a waitress waiting for him next to the table. Bowing, the waitress said, "Master, I hope that you had plenty of rest. If it pleases you, we have your morning meal ready." Han took the seat at the head of the table and waited as the waitress went to the kitchen. In a few moments, she came back and laid out several dishes. A second waitress brought over his drink and a bowl full of fruit. The meal in front of him had a fluffy-looking omelet, bacon, and sausage. Another plate had some biscuits with gravy poured over them. Grabbing the silverware, Han dug into his food and savored the various flavors. After eating all the food in front of him, Han enjoyed a sweet, soothing tea. The smell of the drink gave off a herbal scent, in addition to the honey added into it. Behind him, Han could hear the sound of several sets of footsteps coming down the stairs. He felt lips being placed on his cheek, followed by another one on the other side. The last one lingered on his neck, the feel of a tongue staying for a time, accompanied by a gentle moan. Helania and Brittany took their seat on either side of him, while Queen sat to the left of Helania. "Master, you should have woken us up," Brittany scolded him, slightly pouting. She was in an outfit similar to his, but with the crest of his family on the left breast and a diamond-shaped opening to allow a beautiful view of a valley. The school only provided him with his own uniform, so he had created another that mimicked his own. Helania and Queen were in outfits similar to the one he had Brittany made for him when they were in Leaf Village. Both of them had an overcoat over a dress, though the outfit was different for the two. Helania's looked modest, though her cleavage could be clearly seen, and Queen had something similar to a bikini top paired with a skirt. Queen's outfit was a mixture of blues, while Helania's was a mixture of greens. Differences in the outfit was due to Brittany accompanying him to his classes. For the day, as his personal attendant, Han knew that they could bring servants, but he didn't know how many he could invite. The previous night, the three of them had decided who would be the first to go with him. Brittany was the winner and looked delighted, while the other two grumbled. The two of them would look after the house and occasionally check in with those at the stronghold. Not realizing it, Han learned that the other floor protectors were feeling left out. Wanting to be fair, he would rotate out one of the floor guardians, leaving the others to watch their respective floors. Each of the floor protectors was tied to the levels so they would sense if there was an intruder. This would allow them to step away from their duties with the help of Helania's power. Han learned that the first one would be a necklace, leaving her sister by herself to guard the floor. "I agree with Brittany, Master. How could we, who are supposed to be by your side, sleep in while our master goes about his business?" "Master, you look very elegant in your new uniform," Queen spoke, changing the subject. She ignored the glares from the other two and looked at the food being placed in front of her. "Trying to look good in front of Master," muttered Brittany, under her breath, directing her annoyance at Queen. Now, I'm sure that Queen was merely trying to improve the mood. I just want the three of you to continue enjoying your sleep while I went to change into my outfit. You two are being too serious about this," Han gently said. Though the three of them were severe in their duties, he enjoyed the different mannerisms they had. When creating them, he had not gone into details as to what their personalities were like, but somehow they were able to form their own sense of self. Helania was very professional as the head of the floor protectors and as his first creation. Queen was a little childish when they were alone, but was fiercely protective over him, even more so as the leader of his armies. Brittany started off very shy, initially being a waitress, but started to come into her own when he made her into his personal attendant. Thinking of the other floor protectors, he wondered what their personalities were now like. "Queen, while I am away, I want you to send out your minions to search through the city. It would not be good for us to be caught unaware of hidden elements. Find out the various powers in the city and the influence they have. This city should be an open book to me, and I'll be relying on you to make me aware of any events that occur," he ordered Queen once he finished his tea. "Yes, Master. I will make it so that you will even know what food any vermin are eating at any given moment." She went to attention and bowed to him as she accepted her new orders. "A better understanding of this city will help us in making our life more interesting," he chuckled. Like any other highly populated location, there were sure to be nefarious activities taking place. Playing around with those types of people would be fun in addition to academic life. "Master, we should be leaving soon," Brittany informed him. Nodding, he stood up and went to the front door. Helania and Queen followed them to the entrance. "Have a safe and enjoyable day, Master," Helania and Queen shouted as Han and Brittany walked down the path and past the walls. As they were walking along the street, Han started to see other students heading to their classes. Several of them were pointing at Han and Brittany and talking amongst themselves. They were probably talking about his white-colored uniform. At this academy, different colors corresponded to a student's rank. The colors matched the alphabet ranking, S being white, A being red, B being blue, C being yellow, D being green, E being orange, and F being purple. From what he learned, students that were A, B, and C rank were nicknamed primary students, while D, E, and F were nicknamed secondary students. Since there were no students that were ranked S, Han was an enigma to the other students. Next to the housing area, the General Studies building were placed. These buildings were separated into different fields, and students were required to take a class in each of them. Since this was where all the students start off, the coursework was likely to be very general and not go into specifics. With this being his first year, Han would only be taking 3 classes: Alchemy, General Magic, and Exploration. All 3 of these classes were in one building, which was the largest and closest to the tower. With the placement of the building, Han and the girls wouldn't need to walk far to reach his classes. The building reminded him of the buildings at most universities. Outside of them showed bricks with ivy going all over them, with dozens of windows. On the side facing the tower, there was a broad set of steps leading to the entrance. Both of the doors were held open to let the students quickly walk in for their first day. Han noticed how people tend to group together with those of similar colors as them. There were a lot of blue and yellow colored uniforms compared to the other colors. With his white colored suit, Han stood out like a sore thumb, and students kept looking at him. In addition to people pointing him out, there were plenty of guys that were checking out Brittany with lewd expressions. Seeing those expressions, Han didn't worry about it and moved towards the entrance. Compared to when he was on Earth, when he was always concerned with previous girlfriends, Han knew that there was no need for concern. In addition to being his creations and never betraying him, Brittany was deeply in love with him and didn't even care if other people were paying attention to her. Entering the building, there was a wide central walkway with plenty of natural sunlight coming in through the ceiling. There were benches on either side of the walkway for students to discuss various topics and collaborate with others. Dozens of doors were lined down the hallway. Each of the doors was a classroom, and on the paper given to him by Val listed out his classes with room numbers. Summoning the paper, he looked at it and saw that his first class was Exploration. Looking at the room number, Han proceeded to walk down the walkway and look for the right room. Reaching the location, Han went into the classroom. The room was huge, with the desk set up into a downward slope, each row on a tier. At the bottom, there was a large desk and writing board. A lot of the seats were occupied, so the 2 of them sat at the back of the classroom. Sitting at his desk, Han casually glanced at each of his classmates. There seemed to be a wide range of people. There were definitive differences in social statuses. Some of the students had expensive-looking jewelry or equipment, such as a well-made sword, while others appeared very dull. The talking in the room started to decrease as a door at the front of the classroom opened. Walking into the room, a tall lady with gently wavy hair flowing down her back and wearing a black professional-looking outfit came in. Her figure spoke volumes on her ability to defend herself, looking like some Amazonian woman. If there were an artist that needed a model for a female superhero, this woman would be great for the job. Looking at her, Han gazed down her body and saw her excellent proportions. The part that drew his eyes was the size of her breasts, her outfit showing the top portions of it and the smooth white flesh. She reached the desk at the front of the classroom and slammed her head down on it. This is the Exploration class, so if any of you are not registered for this class, you better leave now. If I catch any of you, there will be hell to pay for your insolence. Even though her voice didn't go above a conversational level, this woman made it worse than if she were to yell at them. A couple of people stumbled over their chairs as they rushed out of the classroom with panic in their eyes. Watching these kids, Han wondered how many of them were here just because of how this woman looked. Along with the way she looked, her fiery personality really helped complete the image. His face broke out into a grin as he imagined this year to be an interesting one.